Welcome to
From Research to Recess,
where Hillary and Dee Dee bring research to life with practical teaching ideas.
Let's Go!
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. We actually just recorded one, so then it seems weird that we say hello again because we do them back to back. We should change clothes in between.
What'd you say?
Good. I said we should change clothes in between.
Yeah.
There you go.
Have 4 different shirts.
I know, we should.
Yes.
Hello, how are you, Hillary?
I am doing good. How are you?
I am good. We're on our second version of bring an article and discuss it format. And so Hillary's brought one this time. So tell everybody about it.
Yes. So we basically kind of knew the topic that we were going to bring, but Dee Dee has not heard about this article, and we want to kind of just respond to what we hear, how maybe it would make a difference in the classroom or some practical ideas for the classroom. So the article I pulled is called The Benefits of Fine Motor Skills in Early Education. And I really enjoyed this article. There are so many good ideas. There are actually a lot of practical ideas and ways that you can work on fine motor skills with your students in the classroom.
Oh, I love that.
And I think the big, I guess you could call it an aha moment, is what kind of pivotal role fine motor also plays in their cognitive and academic skills. So I think I'm always thinking of, okay, I want them to be better at handwriting. Or that's like a big push, is we all want to improve their fine motor skills to be better at handwriting.
Yeah.
But this study goes into how it really affects them in so many different ways in a positive way. And so they even start the article by talking about how it says one study established a connection between fine motor dexterity and the use of finger-based number representation. And you just think, as a classroom teacher, how hard is it for me to... Sometimes you see your students really struggling with even just showing the numbers.
Yes.
You remember seeing them do that. So they said even just the ability to isolate the number 2 or to show all 5 fingers is a physical action, but it correlates with numerical skills. And all of that is crucial for academic success.
I love that. I didn't, when you first started talking, I was thinking in terms of literacy. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking handwriting and the ability, handwriting, that fine motor skill of forming those letters correctly. And I was thinking about how that turns into composing, improvements in composing, and how you really notice it in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade. And that whole cognition, never even thought about math. That's amazing.
I know, I've never really thought about that. And it does say that if you engage preschoolers in fine motor activities, and this would be things like putting coins into piggy banks or threading beads, whatever they are drawing, that has been linked to enhanced reading performance in their first school year. So studies have proven that. And it's found that fine and gross motor skills are associated with cognitive functions critical for math and reading comprehension success.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
It's even more helpful than we first realized, I think, or recognized.
Right. And when you're kind of talking about this, I'm thinking about things that we see when we go to, Applebee's or whatever, where family pulls up, everybody is on their device. And it used to be, they used to have those coloring mats that you would have with those really bad crayons, they break instantly. But you'd have those coloring mats where they were tracing the pattern or completing a maze or some of those activities that those preschoolers would be working on. And even kindergarten and 1st grade, they'd be working on. But now there's, I have my finger, I'm like pretending like I'm pressing a screen, if they're even doing that. So goodness, that's a really important study. So parents should know this.
This is a good one for parents and teachers. And that actually goes to the other side and says a significant study highlighted that children with motor coordination impairments often face lower pre-academic skills, and they are put at a disadvantage from the onset of their formal education. And it does say it's very important that we practice these at home and at school. And so it's kind of interesting because I feel like fine motor skills, it's kind of we don't really put them as something as it's super important. You have to do it every single day. It's one of those,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's one of those skills.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a side thing. Like maybe
Yeah.
you
It's
could
like
set up some centers where they
the fun
go and
thing.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a fun thing. And so I think it's important for us to really recognize that what a critical role it plays.
Well, and I'm thinking about your role in the early childhood kind of world, right?
Hmm.
So, what are, what are some things that I know some of the things, but everybody kind of has different things that they bring in. So, what are some things people who are listening could quickly pull together?
So there's so many things to do at home. And this goes into, just in case you're a parent listening and you haven't thought a lot about fine motor skills, they say the fine motor coordination pertains to the synchronized movement of your fingers and hands. And dexterity is executing swift and accurate coordinated hand movements, like when you're going to tie your shoes or when
Right.
you're going to zip zippers. I guess buttons would be one too. But there's so many different, they actually go in the article, which we can link, they go into different grasp, like how we grasp a ball. It's called a spherical grasp, the pincher
Okay.
grasp.
Right.
There's a hook grasp when you're holding something. So
Okay.
there's lots of different things that you can practice, but some really easy ways to work on this. You can work on translation, which means you are moving like a hand from your palm to your finger. It could be
Oh.
like a pom-pom or something,
Right. Right. Right.
or a bouncy ball or something that they're trying to move from their palm to their finger. Rotation is taking a pencil and flipping it in their hand
Okay.
from the writing side to the eraser side. But of course, the fun ones. What would you think of with the fun ones?
Well, I'm thinking of, picking things up with tongs, or is that what they're called? They're called tongs. They're not called something
Yeah.
else now, are they? Yeah. So picking things up with tongs and putting them in a bowl, that would be one. Or even just picking up small beads and
Yes.
putting them in a bowl, or placing them on a page, or stringing them on a string. Those are really challenging, I think, for some of the young students, adults too, but really challenging for them. Picking up sequences are really, sequences. Is that what they're
Yeah,
called? Yeah. Like
sequins.
those little things that you sew to your leotard if you're
Yes.
in dance. Sequences, and picking those up, those are really hard to do. I was thinking of, different manipulatives, picking those up. Pom-poms are one. Little tiny erasers, the ones that, we have to have from Target. Those are so small that for some students that's really challenging, but they have that texture, so it's kind of rewarding. Also, they're not slick, so it's one that they'll stick to a little bit longer sometimes. I hadn't really thought about your piggy bank activity. I know I've seen some of them, like even literacy activities where they have to feed the answer into the mouth of
Right.
something.
That's so cute. Yeah.
Yeah. Connect four. Go ahead.
Yes, Connect Four is a good one. When you mentioned beads, this article goes into lots of practical ideas for you in your classroom. It does say you could use a pipe cleaner or dowel if it's too hard with the string. And I also learned a new term. You may know this term, but what is the hard piece at the end of the lace? It's called an aglet.
I did not know that. It's called the what?
An aglet, Aglet. That's the
Aglet.
hard piece at the end of your shoelace. And
Okay.
they said it's very important to pay attention to that if there's not a good one, that it can make it hard for them to string things.
Okay.
And that a longer one makes it easier to string something. Of course, we've done this before where we made it with Scotch tape. You're
Right.
trying to string something, it's not working, so you put Scotch
Yeah.
tape around it. So that's the aglet. They go into scissors and how important scissors, the use of scissors, is for students,
Yeah.
that you can even start around age 2 or sometimes earlier.
Oh my goodness.
You need to be very careful. You want those ones that are child friendly, but they could cut
Right.
Play-Doh when they're very young.
Right. That adds a lot of strength.
Mm-hmm.
Or your
And
hair.
so-
They can cut your hair.
Yeah, they could cut. They can cut hair. It says it's crucial. Introducing scissors early is crucial. And I remember even just being at my church and seeing Tyler's Sunday school teacher working on using scissors with him. And I I was thinking, man, they're so young, but it was
Yeah.
great. Now when he was 4, he was able to cut, whatever I
Right.
gave him because he practiced with her. So yeah, the use when you're younger really helps.
This is for those of you who are listening, sometimes teachers have to campaign for things in their classroom that they want to have, right? They have to campaign for those things that feel like play when they really aren't. So this would be a great one to take to your administration and say, it's not just play. Here's some information that helps you to know how these all fit together and how by phasing these things out, it's detrimental. I think almost, we think about a teacher 25 years ago versus a teacher today. Teachers today have to work probably 4 times as hard on these skills because the students are coming in probably without those skills at all.
Right. Yes.
Or very limited exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this goes on to talk more about Play-Doh, putty, clay, pegboards, but there was a really cute Play-Doh idea in here that I love that I've never seen before. And that, of course, we know how you were going to teach them how to roll into a ball and then make a snake. You can have them cut it. You can have them pound it with hammers, sculpt bowls and cups for stuffed animals. Those are just some of the ideas. Of course, cookie cutters. But one of them that I love, they show little figurines. You know how we have Paw Patrol or
Yes,
we have the princesses. And they said you can have kids make Play-Doh dresses for the princesses or little clothes for the animals. And I was like,
that'd be fun.
Oh my goodness, I never thought of that, but the kids would love it. So
Very good.
there's so many fun ways to work on fine motor, and anything you're doing with your child, if you're a parent and you're listening, anything where they are using those their hand muscles to do little things that might seem a little difficult at first.
Yes.
But that's the productive struggle. That's what's good for them.
Yes. Well, I love that. Oh, I'm glad that you shared. That's a good one. That's a good one, Hillary. Love it.
Yep, they've got tongs in here and using stickers, creating, stickers can be difficult for them.
It can be really hard. They're hard for me.
Yeah, especially pulling them off the page and everything. So that's another good idea. And every time I'm at a conference, there's a session not every time I'm at a conference, but when I do this session, there is a session I do where I talk about stickers, and every teacher has a pile of them.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just not using them. But the truth is, kids love stickers. They are obsessed. If you put one on their paper just to give them a little feedback, it's really helpful. But yeah, I think there are a lot of good ideas in here. We can link the article for you, and I'm sure everybody has different fun ways that they work on fine motor, but
you know what the hardest, this should be like the kindergarten, if there would be a final exam on fine motor, is to get that top off of the ketchup thing from Chick-fil-A. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, that's the hardest thing ever.
That's
that
your
would be like their final assessment of the year. Can you get the top off? I would fail.
Yeah, I love that. That is difficult.
It's really hard. Well, I love this article. We'll be sure we will link that in the show notes. So if you need to get it or if you want to look at it yourself, you will have that. And I love it. Thank you so much for bringing that.
Yes, it was fun.
All right. We'll see you next time, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.